First of all, I want to talk about my t-shirt, not to make it about me, but if you guys have not been on social media the last few weeks, there's been some amazing things going on. The shirt has something to do with it. Can somebody talk to what's going on there?
Yeah, well, One Vida at a Time is a really incredible initiative that was started and rose from the unfortunate things that are going on at our border with the immigration separation of the families. And Tanya was really just, as we all were, feeling so horrible about it, and was speaking to Gloria Kellett, okay. And they just really amazingly came together and decided that they were going to challenge other writers' room to, number one, bring awareness, and number two, just raise money to get these bonds paid so that we can reunite the families. So we feel really just honored to get to be a part of that. And
85 writers' rooms.
85 writers' rooms.
Social media can do a lot of good and obviously a lot of negative stuff. So congratulations everybody for being a part of that and for giving me a shirt. Thanks to Stars. I made a bet. Tanya, let's go back to when you created the show, because we've seen shows in the past that we might call queer shows or gay-centric shows. This show has everything, so I don't even want to reduce it to just saying it's a queer show, but obviously queerness is a big part of it. But can you talk about what your intention was as far as the sexuality and just everything that we'll see in the show?
Well, it wasn't like a plan. I wasn't trying to make a queer show or a Latinx show. It was just the show was gonna be like me. So, and those are elements in me. So when Stars sort of pitched me this idea of a show about gentrification, that's gentrification of a Latinx space by other Latinx. Chipsters, Chicano hipsters. I know, right? Chipsters. They wanted female East Side, right? And they gave me like 5 things. They were like, go. And then the show sort of came out of that, you know. And I'm a playwright. I sort of like just worked. Didn't source myself for the story, but like I'm like, well, what is a point of view that I can have, you know? So in the way, you know, Emma is queer, that's the way I identify as queer. And then the Latinidad, well, we were in the East Side, and they did want a Latinx gays show, but I didn't. The thing that I wanted to do is a show about a family, a broken family, 2 broken sisters. So that's, and then around, you know, the meat filled around those bones, very easily, because you build the 2 sisters and then you build the world around them, and then, you know, sort of writes itself. Not really.
But you also made a big choice to include the community. Because I know a lot of the extras, a lot of the other characters we see, trans, non-binary, everybody, and that's a choice, and obviously that was important to you.
Yeah, because I wanted the texture of the show to really reflect the East Side, you know. So I was like, when we cast background or actors or supporting actors, we have a lot of DACA recipients. We have some undocumented queer artists, like Lucima Reyes is you know, in an orbit of cruces like Friends, Julio Salgado, who's an undocumented queer artist, and then we have, you know, a lot trans people that populate our world and stuff, but like we don't announce it because that's how we live, you know. So it's just the world. I wanted it to be legit and authentic. I hate the word authentic because it's more for Mexican food, but like true to life, you know.
Melissa, I've been talking to you about Lynn since day one. I've talked to you so much about this show. Tell me about just playing her, and there's so much going on in her, but she, like in the scene we just saw, she's confused and she doesn't know what she always wants, and there's a lot going on with her, but can you just talk about playing those complexities and what you make of her?
Well, it was really fun playing Lynn, I'm not gonna lie. She's very messy, and she makes the worst decisions, and she is very selfish, and she has lived in a way that like revolves around herself her whole life, and she left before she could really face any responsibility and grow up. So this is her in the last episode of the first season, like starting to realize that she can't live that way anymore, and that there are consequences to things, that if she wants her life to have purpose, she has to change her path. And it took Olympia to do that. But thank goodness, because I'm excited to see what happens in season 2.
Michelle, I said, I kind of joked that Emma's got such a hard shell around her, but she does. But I love scenes like we saw in this episode where you see that crack and you see her really be more vulnerable. Do you think she's going to keep heading in that direction, or are there going to be reasons for her to keep that hard shell on as we move forward?
Oh, that shell doesn't come off easy. That thing is on hard and strong. It takes her mom dying and everything around her crumbling to finally even see cracks. Like, this isn't just like a movie that she watched. Like, literally, it takes everything around her to crumble and fall apart to finally allow even just those moments to pass through. And what is really incredible about getting to play Emma is that you just see her desperately grasping for every last break, because this is who she identifies with, and this is all that she knows, and this is the control that she has. She can't control Lynn, she can't control the bar, she can't control Eddie. That's her worst fears. I mean, you can't control the neighborhood or Nelson or anything. So all she wants to do is get back to that, the part that she can control, but that's not the way our lives are. That's just not where the beauty is, and I think that there's something really powerful with Vida dying, and you brought it up so many times that it's almost like her last, like it's the only way that she could love these girls is to bring
It's
them
like
back.
an act of love. Like,
Yeah.
she had to die in order for the sisters to come back together and have a relationship. So it was like a sacrifice that she made almost. That it was like her last act of love is, I'm gonna leave you two, and hopefully with my death you can come together. I mean, I feel like, yeah, I feel like I'm like talking about the world in a way that like only you know, but this is like what I've like figured out, because if Vida hadn't died, Lynn would be in San Francisco, and Emma would be in Chicago, and they would probably like never talk.
And she put it in the will. You all three, along with my wife, have to run a little empire, a little building, basically figure out a building. So she like forced them together in the ways that she couldn't do in real life.
Speaking of the wife.
Hello.
Sarah, did you create a lot of backstory with Vidalia? Because we don't see much of what their life was. We hear little bits and pieces here and there, and I think we all kind of create ideas of what maybe their life was, but did you do a lot of work, or did you talk to Tanya a lot about what their life was like?
Oh yeah, it was something that as an actor is what I need to have to build this character, this love that I had, that Eddie has with Vidalia, and so con Vidalia, they say in Spanish. But yeah, I wrote down so many memories that also with speaking with Tanya about like what was Eddie like before she met Vidalia. What was that like? And so going through that even, but more specific for me was also those specific memories that we had together. I wanted to be able to walk into any scene and or get to any scene and you can feel Vidalia with me. And that's my work of all the memories that come through in those moments, what happened right before, even when you're grieving, when people grieve, like it's stages of grieving, and there's so many flashes and memories that come in and out, and that's what I was hoping for. So I needed to really like excavate into the past and create this beautiful love story.
Because you have to feel the weight of Vidalia. We don't do flashbacks by design, so she's sort of the vehicle for that, but there's no story to it. It's just you just sort of have to feel, because she's the only one like mourning, truly. The other sisters they're mourning in their movies.
Talk about Monterey a little bit. I want to talk to Chelsea too, but I went back and watched the pilot again, because I thought for some reason, because this episode ends on Vidalia, for some reason I thought maybe it opened on Vidalia, but it doesn't. It opens on Monterey.
Yeah, she is like, she's like the Greek chorus, or like the chorus of Henry V. Sorry, I'm just like theater geek, but like, she's sort of the voice of the neighborhood, and she sort of lays out, this is what's happening around here, and then we started the pilot emotionally. But she, in that way, she's the voice of the neighborhood. But we do end the season emotionally, not with Mari there. We sort of, just for the first season, end her storyline in 5.
Chelsea, did you feel a responsibility as far as being that voice that was saying a lot of stuff about the gentrification?
Oh yeah, totally, and even more so because I'm from the neighborhood, so I'm like, okay, we have to do this right, and I have to do this right, and I have to do my homework, like, on the activist part, because for me, I'm not an activist in real life, I'm like learning as we go along and through the show. But I grew up in the neighborhood, and so for me, that was so easy, and it was like, it's kind of almost like the easiest character I've ever played, because it's so me. But I definitely did some research when it came to the activism part, and I wanted to do that right. And she feels so strongly about things, so I just connected it to how I felt. Like if they took out my taco spot or my tamale spot, like oh hell no, like we're gonna get together, we gonna do something, and this is not gonna happen. So that's how I connected it to me. And I do have family that is undocumented. I do have family that is struggling, living in like it was like my 2 cousins, a baby was just born. One of them has a husband, and then the parents, all living in a 1-bedroom. Like, and they don't want to move out because they don't have papers. Where are they gonna go? Sort of situation. So I can connect to a lot of the stories so much, and for me, I'm just so blessed to be able to give Maria a voice and be her face and be able to tell her story. You know, and especially dealing with this dumb guy over here. He's like, oh yeah, Mari helps out a little bit, and I help out really.
She had 3 jobs.
I think you help. You help me. We like to take credit because he's a man.
Poor Carlos. Every time one of the
Carlos, talk about that relationship. I remember talking, we didn't see a lot of them together, but we know they're siblings, and I would love to see more of that household. Did you guys kind of think about what their household is like? We get glimpses of it, but it's going to be an interesting household.
I think we're, well, yes, I love her. But, no, yeah, we didn't really discuss all that, like our whole dynamic inside the household, which I hope we get to explore a little more in the second season.
But for me personally, I felt like it was that gap where it's like when he was in one school, I was in the other school. And then once he moved on to high school, then I moved on to middle school. Like I felt for me personally, that's what it was for me. So it was like we're cool, but we were never really tight. In my mind, that's where I get the backstory from like my work. But it's that thing of like, he's my brother and I love him, but he's also dumb.
Isn't that how all siblings deal with each other?
But when you auditioned together, you know, when you did your read together, it was like they're siblings because they were doing this, that, and you're like, that's it. Because I don't know if you remember that episode where like she comes in, she says something, and the dad yells at her for him, and he's like, yeah, and he does the same. I just wanna, you know, but that's perfect because it's so real, you know, especially patriarchy and all that in our communities and stuff. I think he's a great example of that. His dad is so good and does love her and all that, but you know, he's still a big brother. You know?
I'm the big bro, yeah, so. And I do bring some dollars in the house.
Carlos, what would you say Johnny wants out of life? Because he seems to be kind of at Lynn's beck and call, but yet he's going to be a father soon. He's got this other woman in his life. Can you talk about what he actually wants? Does he know?
I think he wants to just ultimately be happy. You know, I think he loves hard, and maybe he's loving the wrong person. You know.
Maybe
But,
he knows too much.
Yeah, no, it's beyond sex, you know, it's emotions, it's love, it's feelings that he has for this, you know, woman that is toxic for him, you know what I mean? And ultimately he's following his heart, because he wants to be, you know, he feels like this is what's gonna make me happy, I wanna be happy, you're the one that I wanna be with, which ultimately ends up being, he's making decisions, not the best decisions in the circumstance that he's in, but he's not making the decisions in a malicious way, you know, like maliciously thinking that it hurt anybody, you know, so ultimately, I mean, yeah, I'm sure he wants to be a good dad, he wants to, you know, he wants to be there for his friends, he wants to be there for Lynn, he wants to be there for Carla, but it just doesn't, it's messy and he doesn't know how to, I think he's not particularly handling it the best way he could, you know. But yeah.
The show is very sexy, there's nudity, all that. Talk about the choice of that, and it's always done tastefully, and it always seems to kind of fit with the story and what the characters are going through. But one, I'll start with the actors first actually. Like, is that a good day when you know you're not gonna have clothes on?
Wait, oh. I was gonna say, like, it's a good day when you know you're gonna have your
Right.
clothes on.
And no sex today. That's boring.
Yeah. It was, I think it was the first time for all of us
Yeah.
doing nudity. And it was in the breakdown. Like,
Fact.
even to go get an audition or to send a self-tape, you knew that it was a requirement for the show. And not because it's like a requirement to have nudity, but because Tanya didn't want to be limited in any way. And because nudity is part of life. And it's important to like not always objectify bodies because we're naked all the time. Like, I'm naked all the time in my apartment because it's like delicious to be naked. But when you're thinking about it, that it's gonna be on TV and like millions of households and everyone is gonna see you, it feels very like an invasion of privacy and like it's very vulnerable. And I know that for me it was very hard, but now I'm very thankful that I did it and that because I grew so much as a person. And because I think it's an important message to send out that there's no shame in our bodies. There's no shame in having agency over our bodies and our sexuality. And they're all different types of bodies out there. And you have to love yourself and be confident. And we've grown and been conditioned in a community, in the Latinx community, where it's shameful to like want sex and to like show your body. You're like a slut. No man is gonna want to marry you if like you have sex before marriage, or it's like a thing that we have like ingrained in our brains. And so it's good to slowly, with shows like Vida, start changing that mentality.
Because it's not all just sex. Like, I remember my favorite scenes is the Eddie bathtub scene. And there's nudity in that, but there's no objectification. There shouldn't be, you know. In that scene, it's just a moment of vulnerability and like nakedness of the soul, you know. So and then that was that. So it was one of the scenes that I remember when we talked about it. It got built like first, you know, taking the bath and then the scream underwater. All of it was like, yeah, it makes so much sense for that character, the story, you know. It's not no dialogue. It's just that and. The scene at the top, one of three, with the non-gender person that I think is so hot and awesome. That was so workshopped. It was a good scene. I have some of my writers here, and we workshopped that. We talked about that scene ad nauseum because we were like, when have we seen a genderqueer, like a non-binary person, and a femme top too? Like we need to how do we do this femme topping? You know, we have a responsibility to report. I mean, to like to do it right. You know what I mean? And it had very in mind. You know, like because it tells a story about Emma and how and her sexuality and how she has conducted it back in Chicago. Just you know, the coldness, the topping, the no kissing, but how comfortable she is with being top, you know. That one I'm proud of.
Especially with the long lesbian sex, and then it's just been so fetishized to the point that it's not even real. And it's not for us, it's for the male gaze to kind of have this idea of it, and it's trying to not really make that okay. Like, it's just like, no, that doesn't happen that way. And just to not also be like, whoa, that's the freak show, the non-gendered person. It's like, no, that's a really sexy person, and they're enjoying themselves. And let's do more of that.
And I couldn't wait to take my clothes off. I was like, you're gonna show my body on the big screen? Like, I was like, yeah! And I was like, oh my god!
Yeah, I think we only wanted to get naked, and I had a panic attack before my like sexy scene, and I'm like, I don't know how these people did it. Like, I give you guys so much props, I swear to God. But I literally like had a panic attack the night before. I was talking to my boyfriend. I was like, I gotta get in. Oh my god. Okay. Oh my god. No. He was like, no, you're getting in. It's okay. And it was like, I literally, I couldn't And she was like, yeah, I panicked too, but it was like, I just want to say, I give you guys so much props.
Well, the best part about it is that once, throw it back to you, I swear, we talk a lot. But it's like once you start doing it, you're like, oh, this isn't that big of a deal. Like it's more in our minds than anything, and then you kind of
Why do you think that for a second?
I mean, so scary. Maybe it should be a little.
That's a perfect segue. We're gonna get audience questions in just a second, but I did want to say, is there anything you can talk about with season 2? I know the writers. Wait, can the writers stand up real quick? I know there are writers in the audience.
Actually, just one, right?
Okay.
Your lovely wife.
What can you say about season 2? Can you say anything?
Because if you look at the first 6 episodes as a long 3-hour pilot, the story's just getting started. So now we see where Lynn is after the Libya. Stuff is not gonna get all fixed because of Libya, but there's some, but she's gonna try to be good as the starting. I'm sorry, but that, if now we know Lynn a little bit, it's like how well is that gonna go, So it's her exploration of that, sort of like keeping to her word of 106, but not, just shenanigans. And then Emma is like in. So now we get to see how do we save this bar, because you'll find out it's in really bad shape, and then just the messiness that is Emma because of all the shields, and then stuff for the rest of the people too.
This is very exciting. This is the first time that we're hearing about this, so this is very exciting. Keep going.
This is the first time I'm here and we have a season 2.
we're waiting.
Well, yeah, you do get to see a little more of the Sanchez siblings. Just a little bit more of that, so we do have some, we're still kind of breaking it, so like, and then,
of gangs is weird.
yeah. But basically, now we begin, because it feels like the beginning was like that last scene with the sisters, it's like, now we can begin, and now we do, season 2 is about that.
It was like a prologue.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
right? The prologue.
We're also getting more than 6 episodes, right?
Tanya's like looking at us, like, can I say?
Hey, I'm legit. I'm like, I want to hear.
She says she can say.
Yeah,
Yes.
we can sing.
Start for 25.
You guys have questions? Anybody have questions? Raise your hand. I think somebody's gonna have a mic, I think, right?
Me, I have the mic.
Okay.
Your hand went up really fast with the water bottles. Well, you went up first. I feel like you should speak first. You got
Okay,
so
just
loud.
speak real loud.
Speak loud. Use your voice.
So I'm curious. So I'm hearing stories of each one of you, but in real life, now I know. Of course, Johnny's straight, right? You're straight, but are you guys gay? All 3 of you.
Queer, like actors?
No, like real life. Like,
No, the actors.
I'm queer, I'm non-binary and transmasculine.
And Rosita.
Pressure, no pressure. I was fall in love with whoever I fall in love with.
And I am engaged to a man.
Another question? Here's purple. I think it's purple. No, you read right now. Yeah. Can't tell me it's purple lights.
What was your process with creating such strong women that are just not one-dimensional? Because I just fell in love with just knowing more of these characters because I'm into character development and it was just amazing how you did that. It caught me as soon as the first scene. So what was your whole process of doing that?
Well, I've written about, I've written about 16 plays, and only 3 male characters, so it's mostly all female, all Latina players. When I came here, I was like, I hope someone lets me do this thing that I've been doing, which is like sort of just putting us front and center, and then stars did. And then I think the reason why you're, at least for Latinas, you're not used to seeing us because we don't get that forum, we don't get the space to do it, you know? But it was easy to like fill with life, Vida, a third, a half hour. Because we haven't gotten a chance to do it. This is the first prime cable half hour of a Latinx gaze, you know? It was a shock. We will fill it with real people, you know?
But also, like, I want to say, because I know what you mean, because I also love reading scripts and plays, and I love it when I see this, like, real person on the paper. And that is what we got on the scripts, and that is because of this one right here, and that's because of that woman right there, and all our amazing writers. That's the reality. When you have great writing, and an amazing writers room that Tanya put together of all Latinx writers, they know the world, and it's very easy.
In the game too. A lot of these writers last year, it was a smaller room. They had never been in a room either with another Latinx, with another person of color. They came with a little PTSD, some of them, like because when you're the token and when you're, it does something to you, and it does something to your creative process. And it took a little while to be like, you're safe here. You can just pitch, you know. And now we have like 3 new writers, and it's a really great place. It's my favorite. I mean, I like production too when we shoot, but I love the writers' room. It's my favorite part because it's just possibilities. You know, it's like when we are dreaming of the world, and then it sort of gets away from you. It's all the elements that come in. But we do have a really great and very queer writers' room too. Very female. There's one cis male, and the rest is female identified, and that matters. And that's why you can workshop a scene with the non-binary person and Emma, because there's like skin in the game and knowledge, you know.
I love it.
So we have time for 1 or 2 more. Still here on the aisle.
Hi. So what would you say each character's zodiac sign is? And does it match your personal sign?
Oh, man.
We discuss this all the time with our students, so I'm not gonna answer it because we get into fights about it, right? So I wanna know what y'all think.
I think the first thing that I decided about Lynn was that she was a Scorpio. That was the first thing that I decided about. Yeah. And I'm a Cancer, so I'm close.
Anyone else?
I don't know. I did play around with some stuff, and I actually was doing a lot more.
That's a really good question. Let me just say that.
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
Damn.
Emma's either an Aries or a Leo.
I don't know.
We'll do a poll on Instagram.
Yeah, we gotta do
Whatever it is.
I think that Eddie may be a Cancer and then a Leo rising with a Pisces moon.
I feel like mine could be a Pisces because I'm so naughty. And like, yeah, I'm trying to like, but it's just not nice or anything in real life. Then Marty's a little bit rougher around the edges. But I definitely think like all her heart and stuff is very similar to me. So I think it, yeah. I'm gonna say Marty's a Pisces. Can we say that? I'm excited.
Yeah.
Because I'm her.
One last question. Anyone? Right, you just raise your hand.
This one's for Melissa.
Yeah.
Will you marry me instead?
I am extremely tempted.
I'm not here to bring her in. Come on.
Hey, we're doing more. Right here.
Sorry, I have a kind of serious question after all that fun. I have like lesbians calling me from like Arkansas, the South. They're writing on my wall. They're saying we love Vida. And these are people who are like from white communities who are really disconnected. So thank you to Stars for like giving the Latinx gays a way to connect to people who you wouldn't even think are watching, because people are watching. The thing I want to say is, you all seem to incorporate culture in a way that you don't care if people are even left behind. I've been to a few viewing parties where I've leaned in and said, what does that word mean? And like they're on it to let me know. One example was the beginning of this episode where whatever y'all did with the egg in the shower, respectfully. Awesome, but how do you deal with that? Putting in authentic stuff, bringing the audience along with you, and then what was that?
Come next Sunday, we're gonna be doing it.
I'm
so,
excited.
okay. What was I gonna say? Just like with my plays, because this is a question I used to get, especially because some of them are 40% Spanish, and they're like, do you want to leave us behind and not, include us? And you will never lose story. You always, so you will never lose story. What you will lose is that when we code switch to Latinx culture, and it's sort of a little gift for a Latinx audience, that egg, you might not get it because Cubans maybe don't do the egg.
But I want to get
yeah, it's Cuban.
Yeah.
But we will get it, and it'll do something for us. Like when if you watch the pilot and the Selena song at the end, you get it on two levels. So if you're of the dominant culture or non-Latinx, you get those are the little girls with their mom. But code switch to how we get it, that's Selena, and then it goes straight through. So a lot of it was built with switching, code switching. So I don't like to worry about the dominant culture not getting it if I just keep true to the story of the sisters, But I know that some people are but I try not to worry about it and just stay true to it.
It's also like everyone has the Black community has now their shows, and the Latinx community has such few shows that I feel like it's okay to feel like when you watch Vida, because it's a universal story. It's a story about families, it's a story about sisters, it's a story about immigrants, and anyone that's an immigrant, no matter where from, will be able to relate in one level or another. But if you are Latinx, you have this the inside jokes. You get the inside scoop, and I feel like that's what makes the show special in ours.
Yeah, and then also for, if you're visiting, my friend's parents are Korean and I go there to have food, and I may not get everything, but I think what's kind of amazing about the show is that it gives you that experience. Where you're like, oh, your mom's really mad about that or whatever, or it's time to eat. Ooh, this is delicious.
They even say even with acting and when you're watching something, you could turn off the volume and still understand the story and what's going on, with or without the language, because you can feel everything. So I think that's the cool thing, is that even if some people don't understand some of the Spanish words, you feel what is going on and you know the situation. So that I think is.
And it becomes an invitation to learn more.
Yeah, but also a gift to, do you know what a tomoyada is? Have you ever seen a tomoyada on television? No, but that's for you. Same thing, the word pocha. Never heard it on TV. I'm so proud that we put it out there. The notion of, ni de aquí ni de allá, neither here nor there. That's really important, especially in this community.
All right, well, unfortunately, we're out of time. Thanks everybody for being here.
Thank you,